Hey family, so here I am at the little piece of paradise at George and Anna's. I want you to see this waterfall behind me. Isn't it gorgeous? Beautiful. That's their pool. That's the little bridge I was on a little while ago. So it's an entertainer's delight, this place. And they love to entertain and they're great people. So thanks George and Anna. And today I am going to share from Luke 18, the parable of the persistent widow. This is about persistence, yes, because it's something we all need to improve in, right? What do you think? I know I do. And just because I teach it doesn't mean that I know it 100%. I'm learning just like you, but I like the word, and it's what keeps me grounded. It's what keeps me trusting. It's what keeps me positive. It's what keeps me knowing whose I am, you know. And these lessons that Jesus taught were absolutely amazing, you know, amazing lessons that he taught. So let's look at it, okay? And it says this: one day Jesus told his disciples a story to show that they should always pray and never give up. So pray without ceasing, right? Never give up. That they should always pray and never give up. There was a judge in a certain city, he said, who neither feared God nor cared about people. Wow. You know some judges like that? They don't fear God, they don't care about people. It doesn't matter. Look at what happens. A widow in that city came to him repeatedly saying, "Give me justice." So what is the operative word right there? Repeatedly. You're right. You're so smart. Okay? And she said, "Give me justice. Give me justice." Imagine a widow constantly coming to the judge, "Give me justice. Give me justice." And in this dispute with my enemy. And the judge ignored her for a while. So, yes, persistence is not going to pay off. Because for a while. What is a while? Was it a year? Was it 2 years? How long is a while? Who knows? Was it 2 months? Was it 10 years? Who knows, right? We don't know the time frame, but it was a while. And then it says the judge ignored her for a while, but finally he said to himself, "I don't fear God or care about people, but this woman's driving me crazy." Cray. He was going cray, guys. And I'm going to see that she gets justice because she's wearing me out with her constant request. What's the other operative word? Constant. So she constantly was repeating the same matter to a judge who didn't care about people, to a judge who didn't care about God, who didn't fear God, and she got her way. Excuse me, the sniffle paper. She got her way. She got her way because of persistence. She got her way because of constancy. And then it says, then the Lord said, "Learn a lesson from this unjust judge. Even rendered a just decision." In other words, he did the righteous thing in the end. So don't you think God will surely give you justice if you're persistent? Dude, if the unjust judge who doesn't care about God, who doesn't care about people, is giving a just decision because of a widow who was constantly, repetitively asking for justice, don't you think that God is just? What's the lesson? Don't just pray one time. In other words, yes, you have to pray and believe it's done, because he that believes that he receives, right? He that prays in faith and believes that he receives, it shall be done unto him according to what he believes. But sometimes the consistency is more for ourselves than for God. Why do I say that? Well, think about it. Let's think about a liar. A person that lies, the more that they tell themselves the lie, the more they believe it. For example, somebody that, like me, I used to smoke 2 packs a day. Yes, believe it or not, I smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day at one time. I don't know what possessed me, but it was just stupidity. Curiosity that turned to stupidity. So if at one time, that time when I was smoking 2 packs a day, I would tell myself that I needed a cigarette. When I woke up, right after breakfast, I need a cigarette. Right after dinner, right before going to bed, I need a cigarette. That was obviously a lie. I didn't need a cigarette. Well, maybe my body was addicted. Yeah, but my body wasn't born with a cigarette in its mouth. So I don't, therefore, I don't need a cigarette. Get it? So, but the more I smoked, the more I told myself I needed a cigarette. The more I believed it. The more, see how the lie works? The more I believed it, the more cigarettes I smoked, etc., etc. We can believe the lie. I'll give you an example. Last night, there was a beautiful party for George's dad, who turned 80, at the club, at the comedy club, and then at the Mexican village. They had this delicious looking chocolate cake, and I cannot tell you how tempted I was. I love chocolate, okay? That chocolate cake looked to die for. And hold on, let me get the sniffle paper. I said to myself, I have a choice here. I can believe the lie and chomp down on that chocolate cake, or I can operate in the truth and in the consistency with my goal, my health goals, and operate on a higher level. So what did I do to get away from the chocolate cake? I went to the dance floor. Thank God they had a dance floor there. Wow, that was awesome. So I just started releasing energy. Then pretty soon the rest of the group that we were with started dancing too, and it was fabulous because I did not need to keep continuing temptation. I found something else. What does this have to do with the widow? Well, it's just persistency. The goal that I have is to be the best version of myself that I can be. I'm not always going to be perfect at it. I'm not presuming to be. I'm still learning a whole lot. I'm in a journey. But I like this widow because it said that repeatedly she came to him. In other words, it wasn't one time. And imagine the rejection she was getting, because this guy is a judge, I believe, right? He's a judge. Now, you know that it's not easy to get to judges. You know that there's a whole bunch of people that you got to go through to get to a judge. She couldn't just show up at his house and say, hey, Herbert, give me justice. No, she had to go through a lot of channels, constantly, repeatedly. What does that mean? Did she do it every day? I doubt they let her do it every day. Maybe they only allowed her audience with him every week. And maybe he just got tired. She wore him out. He didn't believe in God. He didn't care about people. She repeatedly continued to go through the channels to get what she wanted, because she wanted justice, because she knew where she stood and she knew that she was right. I look at the same way with my health. I want justice on my health. So I'm working on my epigenetics, which is keeping myself in a stress-free environment, drinking better water, eating better, eliminating certain things like soy, like gluten, like sugar, doing my best to eat grass-fed meat, exercising daily. Today's my Sabbath from exercise, by the way. This is the same one I was using before for my nose. That's one area. And it's going to spill out into other areas. There's other areas that I really need to get back on track. But I'm very positive that the persistency, I'm not going to give up. One of the things that I really understand is that we may be down, but it doesn't mean that we're giving up. We're not giving up. Okay, say that to yourself. I'm not giving up. I'm going to be like that widow, because I know that the dreams and the desires that God has put in my heart through my persistence, you see, God is teaching us, building our character during that time that we don't have the results that we're looking for. He's looking for us to be persistent. That's the lesson, guys. The operative word is repeatedly and persistent. If you have a just God, and this is what Jesus is saying, you have a righteous God. He's a righteous judge. Will he not give you if you're persistent and you repeatedly declare and decree what you want? Now, when you declare and decree, you have to line yourself up with what you're saying. I really like one lady who works in my business. She says this. She says a lot of people have $1 million dreams, but have minimum wage work ethic. I've been guilty of that, but I'm on my way. But with the dreams that God has put in our hearts, they're $1 million dreams. But we need to put the work behind it. Faith without works is dead. So when we put in $1 million faith work ethic, we're going to have our $1 million dreams. Let's get it doing. Let's get it going. Remember, God loves you, and you have to love yourself too. Have a great day.